Yum. It's rich in bunly goodness.
Do you remember when you lost your passion for this work?
I invited another friend. I hope that's okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And welcome to my after-school special edition of Lorena's Lunch Table, where we bring in guests who can't quite make it during the lunchtime. So, of course, we just meet them after school to chat, witty banter, get to know them a little bit better, and just generally kick back and have a good time. And speaking of kicking back, let me bring up my co-host, who again doesn't quite look like himself.
Shh, I'm undercover.
Oh,
I'm looking for leggings.
You are? Really?
Yes,
Did you lose them?
I don't know, but I found this lovely mask, but no leggings yet. So, to the viewers in the future, when you see my really bad joke right now, have you seen Drunk 3PO's leggings?
I have my leggings. I have my Drunk 3PO leggings.
Well, they said wear a mask, and this was the only thing I could find. The fedora is chafing my head right now. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. Hold on.
Well, how can it? Oh, I was going to say, how can it chafe if your head's metal?
My head is so fat. It is so fat. Hold on. Oh God. It hurts so much right now. It really does. I don't know what I did. Oh, it's pulling out hair. Oh God.
Gotta be careful next time.
All
man.
right. Now I feel better.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
How you doing, Reina?
Now you look like yourself. I am doing great. Chilling, doing really cool, enjoying the fall weather.
Liar.
Before it gets snow and ice and disgusting here, but it's all good. It's all good. How about yourself, man?
Wait. Florida gets ice and disgusting?
Oh no, I'm not in Florida right now.
Oh, right now. Okay.
Right now.
I'm a very bad stalker. No one trusts me. YouTube live. I'm all right. I was up till 4 a.m. We did Ords' Among Us stream, which was 3 hours of yelling "Shut up, runner" and other things. But it's always fun.
That sounds like it. Folks, if you are not subscribed to Ord's Board, please do subscribe to him. Great videos, great gaming streams, great dude. We need to push up his subs and his hours.
No, his hours are almost done. It's only a sub.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
well,
also sub to Kai. Don't forget to sub to Kai. And I would say sub to Runner, but it's easier just to say "Shut up, Runner."
Eventually I'm going to steal a page out of Culture Casino's book, and at the end of my videos, just put the channels up that people need to sub and check out, especially those folks who need subs an hour. So
you're getting close too, so I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, I've 200 left. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wow. I'm like stunned.
We both have the weekend drain face. I'm 2D, but we have that look of like I'm comfortable. But if you ask me to do anything besides ordering Uber Eats, I don't give a damn right now.
I'm just chilling. You know what? It's like I got my new chair thanks to my tippers. It is awesome. I got my tea, and we have a guest in the back. I almost don't want to say guest because she's been such a big part of me getting onto YouTube that she's a dear friend.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
You done? Can I bring her on?
Num.
Okay. All right.
I
may have to apologize for bringing her up and you have a friend.
I'm so happy we finally got Oprah. It's been so long, and every show I've been going to get Oprah.
Oh, she's way better than Oprah, folks. We have Merry Mayhem with us in the house. How are you, my dear?
You get a sandwich, and you get a sandwich.
Right. You've been here 3 seconds and already a fat joke. What is this?
You made an Oprah joke. I had to do something with that. That was great.
Why can't you say you get some liposuction? You get some liposuction. You get that phone.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna try to find a liposuction image for next show. That'll be great. Sounds going in the background.
I love that intro. Oh my God, Lorraine, I was chilling out back there and I was watching like the lunch table intro. And this, like, I actually saw Shazam just recently. And
oh shit! What the hell's that? Get that off the screen! Oh my God!
I don't know. It's horrible.
What's going on? Get off! Oh God! It's horrible.
Oh, be gone.
Be gone indeed. Get off!
Be
my
gone,
screen.
thoughts.
Oh God! There's two of me. What is happening?
Oh,
Give this man technology. Good
technology. I'm behind myself, literally.
This is amazing. Yeah, I'm not over this. I'm not over this technology. That
I know it's something else. It's something else. I love it. Yeah. So you finally saw Shazam, huh? I didn't see it till I think 2 months ago.
Yeah, I feel terrible in that regard because it's really something I should have seen way before, but I saw it for the first time. I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. But that scene from Shazam, I was like, God, that's so fitting for this. That's so much fun. I love it. So,
I love it. That scene just like stuck with me because at the end of the movie, it's like, oh no, you can't sit with us. And it's like, okay.
That's cool.
Right.
We needed this chair for soups anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. So that worked out great. Oh, so Mary, you said that I thought Shazam was I thought it was a fun watch. I really did, especially the family aspect part of it. That's what I liked.
Darla, the little sister, the one that was like super clingy or whatever. She was adorable. I wanted to take her home. I wanted to take her home so bad. She was so cute. So yeah, that was even like the adult version nailed it. You know, like they just nailed the mannerisms, and I just wanted to.
They did. They did. It was a fun movie. I kind of wish I had seen it sooner than I had, but I had a binge where I watched Justice League and then I saw Shazam first, then I saw Justice League. Yeah, I know. And then I saw Batman versus Superman. Lord have mercy. It was a weird weekend.
The ultimate cut's a little better, but still.
Yeah, so I heard.
Still what it is.
But I'm just waiting for, see what this
did you guys
spider
see
cut
the
thing
secret
is.
scene in the deleted scene?
What deleted?
Shazam?
Why? I don't know what is happening.
Steven, why do I not want to look at that?
Because it's a close up on a guy's crotch.
That's why I don't want to look at
Cavill.
that.
That's Anna.
Did you really? Steven's
I put
quick.
the table seat.
On it.
Okay, I'm done.
I'd have held on to that one. For Anna.
I would have had both hands ready. I would have worn some memory foam gloves.
I am censoring myself right now. Really
tried to censor the balls.
No way you're gonna be able to do that. No way you're gonna be able to do that. So Mary, why don't you tell us some memories you had about lunch at school?
So, fun fact, I was homeschooled, and I don't really remember, like, I was third grade, the very beginning of third grade, when I was...
Who is that?
I'll try to be more riveting, fat dude.
I'm sorry, I wanted some juice.
You gotta have juice. You gotta have juice, right?
Well, I took Runner's juice box, so.
Oh Lord! Oh God, he's gonna kill us. Sorry, Mary, you were saying.
Lunch tables for me consisted generally of arguing with my brother and sister at the kitchen table over whether or not we could stop just yet, or whether or not we had to go longer or whatever, and who left their stuff on the table for schoolwork, and why was there jelly on this piece of paper, I needed this later, and things like that. So lunch tables were not really normal for me. In fact, it's a bizarre concept to me to sit at this lunch table with a bunch of these other children all eating together in mass like some kinds of concentration camp. Like, I don't really understand the notion of filing a bunch of children all together in one building and expecting them to behave themselves. So it's a bizarre concept to me. I don't really, it feels odd to me. It feels like such a weird notion to just chuck all these children into one giant building and expect it to not burn down. So yeah, it's.
I guess that's the magic trick, huh? Because I would tell people, there's not much difference between a school and a prison.
Wow, we're getting dark now.
People looked at me. I'm like, what? Have you noticed how much open field there is between the school and the street? Have you seen what a prison looks like from the outside?
No, I usually stayed on the
I'm
playground.
like, okay, I've been watching too much television. I apologize.
It's this giant fenced-in building with bricks. Like, it's this giant brick building that's fenced in where they're allowed to go into the yard. Exactly. And like that's and they're not allowed to leave, and they're filed around from one place to the next. I get it. It's their education, and structure is a good thing. But it feels all somehow I managed to get a 4.0 and straight A's and graduate almost 2 years early without having to do any of that nonsense, and not usually getting out of bed before 9 or 10 in the morning. So yeah, it's a weird notion to me. Like,
I think it's a little bit different now because then they seem to have this idea that all children learn the same.
They are insane.
Which
they did.
Learning the same. And not all kids learn the same at all. Like, I found out later on, much later in my life, until like college, which is ridiculous, that I was a visual learner. I needed to see something. I needed to write something out. I needed to draw something. To me, whiteboards were a godsend because I could sit there, and if I could picture it or I could use pictures, that's imprinted it into my brain. It wasn't that you just had to spit facts at me and I could just regurgitate those back. That didn't really make me feel like I learned anything.
No, absolutely. And it was the same for me as well. I was nearly diagnosed with ADHD. My mom was super old school. There was a stigma around it at the time. They wanted to diagnose me with ADHD. That happened not long before my mom pulled all of us out of school to homeschool us. And so I wasn't officially diagnosed with that until I was almost 30. But that was something they were about to do. I do have ADHD. And so it was, my mom had a good grip on like, oh, okay, give her something to do with her hands, right? Because getting me to just sit down, sorry, I got that ADHD.
What do you think I used for the culture one? I just hollowed out the head. Why is there a sausage on my skin?
No joke. It's like Mary, not to throw you off, but have you seen the trailer for the Animaniacs reboot?
No, I haven't. I've been
okay.
I've been to.
There's a scene in there where as soon as we saw it, we're like, oh my gosh.
Did they give Wacko ADHD?
No, they had like a Dot was gonna get on this horse. It looks like something from My Little Pony, and you would expect a voice like yours to say doom 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 doom, but instead it has this deep Optimus Prime voice going on. And she's just like, just shut up and fly. So we were like, we have to get Barry to like that picture and Get Barry to say like the voice of it. It just looks hilarious with Dot getting on and flying away. It was just funny. But anyway, that just.
I'm going to have to give that a shot. I don't know if I have a good Optimus Prime voice. But
it is freaking hilarious because we did not expect that kind of voice to come out of it. I can't wait for November 20th. Anyway, I'm sorry. So you're saying about ADHD diagnosis?
Yeah, no, like that. But I was the same. I was very similar. I needed something physical to interact with to kind of keep me present, and during schoolwork. And that was something my mom. They wouldn't have done that for me. They would have stuck me in remedial classes. You're right about the whole like structure. They think all kids learn the same, and all kids definitely don't learn the same. And I guarantee you, there's no way I would have had a 4.0 and graduated graduated almost 2 years early in the public school system. In fact, it probably would have graduated a year or two late. And so, but via the tutelage of my mom, like under my mom's care, I was able to do a lot better and was given what I needed to function properly in this more lax environment that allowed me to do my homework, do my schoolwork in a way that was just more efficient for me.
I'm amazed at how many schools are out there. I'll let you pop in, Stephen, in a minute. I'm amazed at like all of these specialty schools that are out there now for kids who have ADHD and who were on the spectrum. It's like the academics are there, but the classes are smaller, everything down to even the chairs in the classroom. Are more sensory friendly. If the kids want to go on a tangent to talk about something, the teacher is equipped to let them do that, to express themselves and then bring them back. But they understand it's like, okay, I'm somewhere where I'm valued for who I am and the fact that I can learn differently. And not only that, but there's people who actually encourage me to learn differently.
I think there's a better balance when you're able to do something like that. Like, look, I'm not one for everybody and their mother being coddled. And I do think that there are things that are overdiagnosed, obviously. But in genuine situations like mine, where you actually have a person who is in need of that sort of more lax structure or structure that's a better fit for them, it is so invaluable because you are able to actually take sort of control and charge of yourself in a way that that opportunity just wouldn't be afforded to you in a different environment. And so it was super helpful for me growing up, and something that I recognize in a different environment I wouldn't have done as well. And so I think there's a really great way to kind of balance the two, to properly diagnose and then properly structure around those kids and give them everything they need. So like, I don't like coddling, but I do think it's important to give everyone the tools they need.
Stephen, you were saying, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the versus picture up there.
Okay. Well, I can kind of agree, because actually I was diagnosed with ADD and ADHD in school because my parents didn't know how to handle it, but they didn't, they put me on the Ritalin. You remember Ritalin back in the day, right? And what happened was that since you're too young when it comes to like the public or or the Catholic school systems, because I jumped back and forth, you had to go down to the office. They would call you over the PA to come and take down. And I had some really crappy classmates because I had to go down and take medication every day. They made up rumors to their parents saying I had AIDS and cancer, and it was all this medication for that.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not done. The parents then called the school and complained under that pretense, saying they don't want their kids to get sick. And they didn't know it was for ADHD.
Wow.
So I kind of envy you, Mary, in that fact that you were homeschooled and you didn't have to go through that type of thing. I know every kid didn't, but kids are mean as hell. And with ADHD, it is very hard to focus if it's not something that doesn't interest you.
Yeah.
Like I was doing 5,000 piece puzzles at age 10. I was playing with Lego all the time, and like
I believe it. I believe it. Just to kind of tap in a little bit.
Squirrel.
Even now, it's funny. I do. I see the pushing. Even before ADHD became like I don't want to say a bona fide diagnosis, but more education, and people became more aware of it. People that I would work with, like software developers, you give them a software problem to do, heads down, they would get it right. If you needed somebody to focus, they would go and get it done. Social interaction, not so much.
Yeah, terrible.
Not so much. But it was one of those things where it's like, okay, we know they're not so good on the social thing, which is why I kind of have the job that I do. It's like I can see what that is. So it's like, okay, I'm kind of like the buffer, in between. But their technical skills are so on point that's a skill set that employers value in that. So before we even knew what that diagnosis was, we could see it, but we mostly saw it not as, because some people see it as a liability. For us, we were kind of just like, No, if you get them with that particular mindset, you're going to get the freaking best developer you can get. We'll work with the other stuff, but they have what we need.
I always considered it a quasi superpower in a weird way, because when it's something you enjoy, you tend to be a bit more creative and you think outside the box, and you'll get it done. That's all there is to it, is you will get this done, and you will generally, if you hit a problem, you kind of are able to look at it from a lot more sides, a lot more angles than maybe your average person would. It just depends on where your passion lays, and like obviously that could be any given thing for a person with ADHD,
right?
But like if this is something that a person with ADHD is passionate about, you will find that they will get it done, and done generally speaking in a way that is just above and beyond your expectations.
Yeah. I would like to add something to the story I said before, because this even goes back to my teacher. When they finally put me on the medication, my whole work thing changed, right? I was doing the work that was given to me. It wasn't just random stuff that I liked doing. I was doing all the homework. And when it came to a short story one time, we had to write a short story. Most kids write like a 1-page or 2-page, like in grade 4 or 5, right?
Nope.
I wrote a 10-page story.
Oh, wow.
I drew pictures, but that wasn't the funny part. The teacher literally called in my parents and asked if I wrote it for them, if they wrote them for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was reading Can at like 8. Like not The Hobbit. We're talking about like it was like Lord of the Rings. I think I dipped into the Silmarillion around 10. I was always about words.
Wow.
Yeah. But Mary, I have to ask you a question then. When it came to did you read the book from start to finish, or did you jump over the talking parts to find more out about the lore and the backstory of the world first?
No, I was addicted to words. I would read all of it, and like starting from to finish, it was like a hunger for me when it came to books. I could sit there and my mom, we didn't have a functioning car a lot of the times as a kid. And my mom had to put up with this child who was addicted to books. And we didn't have a way to get to the library very often. And we're, homeschooled. And so it was really rough on my mom, because I would sit there and she would have to try to get as many books as possible for me anytime we could go to the library, because I would just speed through, and she used to get a little frustrated with me, it's an interesting thing to be frustrated with your kid about, that they're reading too much, right? It's like, I need you to slow down, all right? I need you to slow down a little bit, because I need you to take your time and savor these books a little bit, because we're not going back for a while, and you really only get to do this for so long. Like these are only going to last you so long. So and I'm like, I'm trying. And so I used to have this legitimate effort on my end to try to slow down while reading, but I am a speed reader. And I tend to get through stuff a little quickly, just because when I read, it's like it's an
addiction.
It is. It's reading. I don't do it as much as I used to. Obviously, time inhibits at this point in my life. But yeah, when I get to sit down and read, I love it. It's the best.
I get it, because when I was a kid, it's like I used to drive my mother crazy about taking me to the library to read. And I would read so much that when we would get books assigned, in English class, they give you this assigned book to read or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, I'm already done X, Y, and Z chapters. And classmates were like, you can't read that fast. I'm like, well, how do you know? Yeah, I can read that freaking fast. Of course I can. Let me tell you what happened.
Whoa.
And it was, it's like an addiction. It's like I have to find out what happens, especially if it's a book I like. Now, for example, Moby Dick, which is one of the most boring books in the world, until the end. I'm like, if we can get to the last chapters where the whale shows up, we're good. But I'm not interested in, in the naval minutia, and all that crap.
Yeah, Silmarillion is pretty difficult to slug through as well.
you have to apply yourself to similarities. It's not like Lord of the Rings.
No, it's not.
It's very slow build up.
It's very biblical sometimes. It's a rough read, but it's the world building that takes place in that book is just stellar, and so it really helps you to kind of paint a picture in your head and understand the intricacies of this world as you're going through. So it adds so much context to the Lord of the Rings,
right?
And so it's one of the reasons why I enjoy it. So it's like whenever people start to throw that whole, you should have just taken the eagles to Mordor, and I'm like, you can't do that. You don't understand. They're like
an Uber you can just hop
Not
on and
over.
take away. Gandalf had to build up a friendship and trust with those because they were wiser and older creatures.
Well, and you remember how Gandalf was like, I can't take the ring, Frodo. I dare not take it. And he's like, through me, it would wield such dark and terrible power. And I'm like, that's exactly what would happen with the Eagles. You don't understand. They have no business being near that ring.
You know,
because even if they're not wearing it, the fact that they're in proximity to it will corrupt their thoughts. And if it does get into their brains, all they have to do is throw Frodo or Bilbo off and take the ring. And next thing you know, you got invisible hawks running around everywhere kicking ass.
See, I could not. I was one of those where it's just it because I wasn't a fantasy reader. So I would, and because I wasn't, it was just me. But I would see my friends would get so into it, and I was just like, it's not for. I can't really get into it so much. But when I started, I had to listen to it because I'm too freaking busy to read the book. Like the first book of Game of Thrones, and how long, I think the Audible version is something like 30 hours. I think I'm only 5 hours in, but the minutia and detail that George R.R. Martin gives when he's world building. I literally thought, okay, is this what reading Lord of the Rings is like? And I didn't mind because I was fascinated from like the smallest details that they were talking about, and the scenes that he would paint where you would actually like feel, like you were there.
I love now. I can't pretense here and say that I've read the George R. R. Martin books. I haven't. I have seen Game of Thrones, and as I understand it, the first few seasons are relatively close to the books. But one of the things that I actually love about the addition of movies or external media to books is that as much as you paint those pictures in your head when you're reading the books, and you don't have that external source to kind of put those images in your head of seeing. Now when I read, like say, for instance, the Harry Potter books, right? I see in my mind, I see those characters, right? And I hear their voices internally. And obviously I put what I saw in the movies in the book, and I'm like, yeah, this is better because there are way better details and things that are drastically different in the books.
Oh yeah. The movies is the reason why I started reading the books, because once you got to, I think, the Goblet of Fire, and I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I didn't read the book, but I can tell there are so many things that are missing. And that's when I went back and started reading the books.
You'll love Neville so much more from the books. He's a bit more prominent. He exists in more spheres. He's not really like a drop-in character like he is with the books or with the movies. And the person who ticks me off the most in terms of the way that they were represented is Ron Weasley. Ron Weasley is not an idiot. He is not an asshat. He is not a jerk. He's not
a ginger.
Stupid. No, actually. So, for example, you know that scene in the Prisoner of Azkaban when they're down in the bottom of the tree and they're facing Sirius Black for the first time, right? And they don't know that he's Harry's. They know he's Harry's godfather, but they don't know that he didn't turn them over to Lord Voldemort, right? And they're down there in the bottom. And in the movie, you see Hermione jump up in front of Harry, and she's like, if you want to kill Harry, you'll have to kill us first. That's not Hermione. Ron does that, busted leg and all, gets up. He's woozing, he's ready to fall over, but he still gets up and he protects Harry like that. That's Ron. Ron is incredibly brave and incredibly loyal. And so a lot of these amazing scenes, they kind of take from Ron and they give to Hermione at times. And it's very frustrating because Hermione's wonderful and she's brilliant in her own right. But Ron is much more lovable in the books, and he's far more faithful and loyal than they give him credit for. And so that's frustrating.
Is he a ginger in the books? Because I'm honest, I haven't read the book.
They're all gingers. All the Weasleys.
All gingers?
All the Weasleys are gingers.
Yeah. That's a prominent trait of is their red hair. But Mary, you're right, because when I'm listening to Order of the Phoenix, I haven't gotten too far into it, but it seems like the way that they paint Ron in the books is definitely different from what they paint in the movies. If anything, it seems like Ron and Hermione are almost equally balanced with how they're presented in the book.
Well, they complement one another very well.
Mhm.
Hermione adds this obviously the wealth of knowledge to everything, but she's also very apprehensive a lot of the time. But the sort of coward that they portray Ron to be, Ron's always here for it, right? Like in the second book, in the movie, they even do this in the first and second movies. In the second movie, when they land in the Forbidden Forest, and there are all the spiders everywhere, or whatever. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, when they go back into the Forbidden Forest, and there's Aragog and the spiders everywhere because they're following the spiders, right? We're following the spiders. Ron's like, ooh, all through the movie, like, I hate spiders. And he does hate spiders in the book. He does hate them. But when they're going this far, Harry looks at Ron and he's like, are we doing this? Are we going into the Forbidden Forest to go follow these spiders? And Ron looks right back at Harry and he goes, we've come this far. And so he's clearly not happy. He's clearly uncomfortable, but he's very brave and he does it anyway because he knows that they have to try to clear Hagrid's name, right? And so they go. He's like, we've come this far, and he plucks up his courage and he goes with Harry, and he does it because he's there and he's loyal and he's brave. Oh my god!
Right, Lord,
McProppers.
I literally was just like, can I get a quarter? Let me stop. Because people say proper, where's my order?
I would like a McChicken, please.
Excuse me. I would like a chocolate shake. I would like a Cobra Kai uniform.
Wow.
A medium fries and a McRib, and to be renamed the McPropper.
The McRibs are not available right now. You'll have to wait.
Well, how will I tell
it.
the missus with my lipstick?
What?
He's wearing lipstick in the picture.
I don't know that.
I thought it was just okay. I guess clown.
Okay, well,
makeup.
I don't wear many feminine products, so I don't know. Okay, it's a fruit by the foot gone wrong. Okay, how about that?
No, it's not. Usually, for your average clown, you're going to use Mayron, which is not. I don't know if you knew this, Lorena. I'm a certified clown.
I did know that.
Yes.
No way.
I am. Yes, I went to clown college. I was 15 when I was certified as a Maranatha clown. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess no one can ever use that insult.
No, no.
Did you go to clown college? Yes.
I did.
Yes, I did. By matter of fact,
motherfucker.
But you know, bringing up Justin's picture actually is a great segue into the next subject, because I know I hear Justin always refer to you as his YouTube bestie.
Yes.
So how in the world did you get into YouTube?
Oh, Lord, love a duck. You know, it started the same way as it really does for everybody. Like that sort of kind of kicks off, at least within this, community. So many people, so many channels are spawned from, watching other channels and getting it in your head that you'd like to give this a go. And you don't really know at the time what you're doing or where this is really going. You just know that you feel some kind of way about things and you would like to engage in the dialogue, right? Because you've been listening and you were a chat rat, right? And you were there. And so for me, it I guess if you get down to it, it spawned in the chats of all of these wonderful content creators, Anna and Jeremy and John Talks. John Talks was a big part.
We're not going to call Jeremy wonderful. That's pushing it right now.
Oh, he'll get over it. God
Jeremy.
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 He doesn't like compliments.
But Jeremy, if you are out there, hit me up. I'm so fired.
Shameless plug, right? Yeah. No, it started the same way that it does for so many people. But for me, John Talks was instrumental because he was one of the ones, not that Jeremy was inaccessible, because Jeremy was always really great about acknowledging he knew me, right? Oh yeah, Mary's been here since, I had 2,000, 3,000 subs, right? Like Mary's been there, right? And so Jeremy knew who I was, obviously, and I never felt like it wasn't possible to have dialogue, but Lord knows, I don't know, something happened in the chat of John Talks Talks. I'm above it. Yeah. Sorry, I always have to laugh at that because.
Oh,
well, I'll keep my jokes to myself for right now.
I'm sorry, I had a Shenanigans flashback. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was born out. I think in John Talk's chat was where it all sort of started.
Mm-hmm.
Was I got told about a stream that was happening after John Talk's stream was over, and I was invited by a few people. Her name was Bonnie Burgess. She doesn't really do it anymore. But she was sort of instrumental in. It was the first live stream I ever did. I was just invited to come on, and I had a thing to say, and I felt some kind of way. And this was, this was 2 years ago at this point, and the frustration around The Last Jedi was still pretty. I don't want to say it's died down, but the banter around it was still pretty hot and heavy, right?
Sorry, I hear that freaking title and
I know.
My bowel's empty.
It's yeah.
The banter was still really, really dense at that particular moment among channels, and I felt some kind of way, and I got invited on, and I went on, and oh my God, out of nowhere, Ivan Ortega was there. And he was just talking to me like I was a normal person, and it was really cool. And so I went back for more, and then I decided I wanted to do my own live stream a few weeks later and wanted to give it a go. And I had no idea what to do, but I talked to Justin a little bit, and he was so helpful to me. And he kind of got into DMs with me, and we were just sort of talking back and forth. And this was back when people having my number didn't seem so potentially terrible.
It's okay.
It wasn't the worst idea ever at the time, just giving out my number. So, a few people still have my number from those days, but like as a general rule these days, no, you're not getting my number. Don't ask. If I want you to have my number, I'll bring it up.
Exactly.
But yeah, Justin and I were just talking, and he walked me through it, and he was on my first ever live stream, and our friendship grew from there. And Justin did for me what he's done for so many people, which is just sort of foster you, and he walked me through it every step of the way. For the first few months there wasn't anything I did that Justin wasn't on, because he was just sort of holding my hand. And he introduced me to so many wonderful people. Drunk 3PO was one of those people, Rookie Critic, and Sith Kryptonian, and just all of this sort of second wave, as it were, or third wave, I guess is what it would be. We were sort of coming up in the world, and Justin was there for every bit of it. And
wow.
It's why we remain relatively close. And when I say he's my YouTube bestie, there's nothing disingenuous or insincere about that, because Justin was so instrumental in that process and has always been there for me. And so if there's anything Justin ever needs, I'm there in a heartbeat. So I'll follow that up by saying, don't fuck with Justin proper. I'm the only one that gets to do that. Don't fuck with Justin proper.
I have two things to quite quickly add, because I think this is right. He's genuine.
He is.
And the second thing is, since you will back him up and tell him what he needs Fat Steven. I'm doing another shameless plugging.
Yeah, he does. Oh God, Steven beat me to the punch, because I was like, yeah, I'll tell.
No, it's not. No, I know. I'm not serious. He is all over the place, and he's like one of those guys where like, you need a goddamn.
He does.
He should hire a runner, but he would never get anything done.
Justin is he's really cool, and I mean,
he's
I want to say, like, how long ago was this? Was it 6 months ago? Maybe 5 or 6 months ago. Maybe 5 or 6 months ago. Where on Twitter he's like, I'm gonna do this show. Does anybody want to come on? And he didn't really know. He did know me from that time Christy put out the StreamYard link on Twitter, and that's how he wound up in the Queen's Council, and that's how I met him. And he started following me. But he's like, I'm gonna have a show. Does anybody want to come on? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. I hadn't been streaming that much. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Let's come on the show. And kept bringing me back every week. He's like, I really like having you on the show. I'm like, really? Okay, cool. I like being here. And he's
Justin
just
has
been
an eye for talent.
awesome. He's just been awesome.
Justin has a wonderful eye for talent, and he can pick you out of a crowd. He knows when there's something special that you have to offer, and there's so many people who have done that, who've risen up through this community as a result of Justin looking at them and going, "That one's gonna go places." Jesus Christ!
Oh,
I don't want to wait for our lives. I don't know why that popped into my head.
Jeremy Creek, never on the CW.
oh my gosh.
Let's hope the quartering never sees this.
That's why I always say, like, guys, go give some of your time to Justin, because Justin has given so much of himself to this community, and he's contributed so much to this community being such a flourishing, thriving place. Because a lot of people they start on Justin's channel, and they're picked out of the crowd because Justin has an eye for acknowledging talent, and so you owe it to yourself to go hang out in Justin's chat and see who the next person coming up through the Fandom Menace is going to be, because odds are they'll end up over there at some point.
I love being on that show.
Like, Mary, I haven't known you a long time, like, per se talking, but I have watched you quite a while because the Reina would mention the show. I've watched Shenanigans. I've watched how crazy sarcastic Miss gets. Goddamn, she freaks me out.
I love her.
I love her.
But the thing is, you have an aura around you where you're not only strictly business, getting the show done correctly, because we've talked about this before, but you have the magnetism to not only bring in new people the way Justin does, but you also have become, in a way, your own Justin. He might have pushed you up, but you have gravitated other people around you, and they have branched off, taking a part of you in them and being themselves as well as someone like you. Whether it be Tom, it be Wes, it be anyone, like even Andrew, for God's sakes, Caffeinated Wolf. He's great. You have the same kind of mentality. You might be a little bit more business oriented, but you are a very genuine person. And that's the one thing I can say from a few people I respect in the shows. You don't lie. You give yourself 110%, and the only thing you want back from other people is the same type of honesty, and at least 90% back. And you don't see that often in a lot of channels. You go above and beyond the drama that underlies, and you make it about not only your viewers, but about the show. And that one episode you did with your dad singing, I remember that one. It was the karaoke, right? Like,
yeah, Merryoke.
I need to watch that.
That is something you don't see, I've never seen on this show, because you brought in your family and you gave something back, which was really cool, because you're sharing your dad and like the communication and the relationship you have. The only other person I've seen do that I can respect is Fallon, when she has her shows with her dad. So that's really well done. I had to say that. It's not simping, but
No, and I appreciate that so much. That you should have seen me priming my dad for that stream. I was like, Dad, there are things you can't do, okay? You don't get to talk. It was like, you do not get to talk about changing dirty diapers. And he teetered on it. Anyway, he teetered on it and he kept teasing me with it. And I'm sitting over there dying in my seat, like, please.
Oh my God.
Dad,
I have to watch that episode.
But and I didn't mean to sound creepy anyway, but
no.
It's honestly, I don't think enough people, maybe they do, don't say thank you, like I've said to kind other people, for giving yourself and opening up your world to other people and letting them be a part. Because it was great just getting the chance to be on Shenanigans, but you are one of the few that I can respect that are doing it because you love doing it. You're not doing it for a super chat or a shot. You're doing it because you want to make something better, especially during this year.
I will say this, and I appreciate that compliment so much, but I think that the authenticity is something that is essential to having a genuine channel. And that is, look, there are other things I could be doing, guys. I'm making way more money. I was a bartender and a DJ for 10 years. I made so much money doing that. And it would be very easy to go back to, COVID. We're not
No,
there
no, not right now. I saw
Right
David
now, right
Guetta's
this second.
performance.
But
It's pretty good.
Wu-Tang.
10 months ago, that was something that I was struggling with, was trying to decide whether or not to do this YouTube thing and to make this my career, as it were, or to go back to something that is financially far more stable for me, or to continue pursuing this YouTube thing. And look, I don't believe I'm ever going to be a 500,000 subscriber channel.
Shut up. That's not true.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter if you don't know. If it happens, it happens. But don't put yourself down before that door is open.
It's
That's
kind
one
of
thing
not
I've
the
learned.
point. It's kind of not the point, really. The point is, and I mean this when I say this,
Right.
I have one goal, and that is to contribute to fixing these things I love. I love the geek culture. I love everything about it. It is such an enormous part of my life. It always has been an enormous part of my life. When I say I'm a cosplayer, yes, I'm a cosplayer. I've been to so many cons. This is a generalized statement. I'm not going to get into my kids but my kids, I made their first cosplays, right? Like this is my culture. This is my love. These are the things that I cut my teeth on, and how I learned to view the world around me through this prism of geek culture. And I'm watching its destruction occur, and that it bothers me. And so this is where I want to be, because these are where my efforts matter, at least in terms of what's important to me. And so, am I business-like on a lot of things? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But ultimately that's because I want to be successful in the pushback. I don't want to just sit here and be another mouth. I want to be coherent and to make an impact, and for it to ultimately matter. What I'm doing needs to matter.
I would like to then apologize for the shut up earlier. I didn't think you were putting yourself down. It's just I think you're gonna go farther, and I don't want you to blast me later. So I'm trying to save my balls.
I would never.
But yeah, I just wanted you to understand that I wasn't saying shut up to be derogatory.
No.
I think you have a lot more coming towards you, and especially with Andrew also in your corner and sarcastic psychopath. That's what I'm going to call her. You guys are like the Three Stooges in a way, but it's a different type of Three Stooges, and it's very nice. She has psycho eyes. That's why I say that. I've seen her look.
I love her. I love. Yes, she does.
I love her too. I respect her. I have to wear armor if I ever talk to her. But she is one of those where it's like you guys are like a Three Stooges like group.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it. Like I gave him the same type of speech to Lorena and Christy. You have all something that's special, and you are using it to the best of your ability. And you have my 100% loyalty if you ever need something. The way Lorena is like going to say the same thing to you and has said it to you, and other people have. We don't want you to fail ever.
I appreciate that. I don't feel like there's any measure of failure here. It's all been so wonderful and so good. And be careful with those compliments with Miss, because she will stab you. But she's just not so good at taking the compliment.
None of us are. I can say that right now. None of us like compliments, and we're like, is he trying to steal my wallet? After this,
that's exactly what she'll be thinking.
I can agree with that. Compliments, it's easy to give compliments, but you can always tell they're the same type of people, and that's why we're connected. Because when we get a compliment, we can't tell if it's a wolf in sheep's clothing or it's an actual person saying, "Hey, you're good at what you do."
Well, there are a lot of people out there who relay disingenuous compliments because they feel that it might be advantageous to them in terms of their own, YouTube
personal gain,
right? Their own gain or whatever. And so you do tend to have a wary eye when you're dealing with people, because your concern is who's out there to. And there's a difference between using you and being facilitated by you, right? Like so there are lots of people who I understand have quote unquote used my channel to have a platform, and that's one of the reasons I want you guys, I want us to grow as a community, I want us to prosper, and I want us to add to that tidal wave of voices that is out there that ultimately makes it difficult to be ignored as a community, right? But there's that sincerity that I want. If you're doing this, I expect you to be sincere and here for the right reasons. I don't want to propagate a person who is here just because they think it's a good fad, and they'll abandon it the moment that they get what they want. And no, I'm here to support anyone who I believe is going to genuinely be here for this. But it's hard to tell sometimes. And so you do tend to take those compliments with not a grain of salt so much as a mild apprehension, I suppose, because you're surveying the people around you, and you want to be open to new people, and you want to give everyone a chance, but you also want to not be bamboozled, as it were.
Right. It's like you kind of take like a sane approach to it, because that's what I'm running into, I want to say maybe about the past month or so, with the compliments that, it's like you have your group, like you, Stephen, a couple of close others where I know the compliments are genuine, and then you have that area where you're not sure if they're genuine or they're not, but you do the polite thing and say thank you, and it's like more of like you kind of take it at fat face value.
What is with the fat jokes? God
what?
You said fat face.
No, I didn't. I said face value.
No, you said fat face value.
You said that face value.
Face value.
Oh, I thought you said
no.
I'm taking that fat stuff.
No. Well,
no,
we'll catch it on playback. We'll catch it on replay.
I'm gonna put it on playback, and it's like fat face value.
You know what? When this premieres in the chat, people are gonna be like, "No, she said so and so."